Hi, I'm Jenny with theforestdaisy. I create crafts and home decor. In this video, I have some Valentine's Day DIY projects to show you. Please like my video and subscribe to my channel for more crafting. This wooden heart came from Dollar Tree. It had a small rope hanger on it that I removed. I painted it a light purple color that is from the brand Apple Barrel. I painted the whole heart, dried the first coat with my heat gun. Then I did paint the back and the sides a second time so that the paint covered more of the wood grain. Then I grabbed a piece of paper that I got out of a paper set that I had from Walmart. This paper was white with tiny black polka dots on it, and I thought it complemented the purple. And it's mostly out of frame, but I traced around the heart with a pencil. Then I cut out the shape with some scissors. I cut slightly outside of the line so that way I had a little bit of extra room and knew that it would fit onto the heart. I used a paintbrush to apply Mod Podge onto the side that had one coat of paint, then placed the cutout paper on top and smoothed it out. I made sure to press around the edges of the heart so the paper would stick. Once it had time to dry, I sanded off the extra parts of paper. The sandpaper came from Dollar Tree, and I don't really recommend it because it shreds apart easily, but I was trying to use up what I had on hand. If any part of the paper wasn't completely glued down, I added more Mod Podge underneath that spot and then pressed the paper down again. I also made a few other hearts that were different shades of pink and had other patterns of paper on them. I had this wood spool in my craft stash. I poured some hot glue in one end of it to create a barrier. Then I took a wooden skewer and some grapevine hearts that all came from Dollar Tree. I angled one of the hearts to the side and slid the skewer through the wire on the back side. I tried my best to line it up so that the grapevine heart would cover as much of the skewer as possible. I did the same for the second heart, but I angled it in the opposite direction, then alternated it again for the third. I put hot glue onto the skewer underneath the hearts so they wouldn't move around. Then I added more hot glue inside of the spool so the skewer would stay in place. This moss used to be at my grandma's craft room, so it's probably anywhere from like 25 to 30 years old, but you can get some at Walmart. I've also seen some at Dollar Tree or other craft stores. I glued that moss around the base of the topiary to cover up the top of the spool. And then I had a thrifted flower arrangement that had cute little flowers in it that were perfect for this. So I glued a leaf and a flower onto each heart to add a little pop of color. Next, I made some conversation heart shelf sitters with these wood hearts that were also from Dollar Tree. I painted this one light pink and covered it with two coats of paint. Then I used my Cricut to cut out the word sweetheart with some red vinyl so that it would match the same color that is on the candy conversation hearts. I like to use this transfer tape that I get from Amazon, which will be linked in the description. And then I sealed it with some Mod Podge, and I had some other hearts that I made last year. I had another one of those hearts left over that was already painted a hot pink color. My mom gave me some Valentine's tissue paper. I'm not sure where this was from, but Dollar Tree or Walmart or other stores should have some out right now. I placed a piece of tissue paper over the heart, then cut a square around it. I swirled some Mod Podge onto the heart, making sure to cover the whole front side. Then I placed the tissue paper on top of the heart and smoothed out any wrinkles with my fingers. Then I cut off the long pieces of tissue paper with my scissors. After the Mod Podge dried, I used sandpaper again to scrape off the excess. I didn't wait quite long enough for it to fully dry, so I did accidentally rip part of the tissue paper on the heart, but I was able to fix it. Then I did a coat of Mod Podge over the top to seal it. I have an assortment of lace and fabric trim that were also from my grandma's craft stash. I picked out this cute red eyelet trim for this project. There's an opening in the top of the fabric, so I slid some wire through that. I got this wire from Amazon and I like that it is easy to bend and I can use it for a variety of things. I started bunching up the trim in a section and then would spread it out by pulling it along the wire because the wire would sometimes get caught in the material, but then that also seemed to make the process quicker. I kept adding more of the trim until I thought it was a good enough size to shape the wire into a heart. Once I liked the size, I used wire cutters to snip off the extra wire. The ends of the wire were at the bottom of the heart, and I attached those together just by twisting the wire, and then I hot glued the fabric together to cover it up. I adjusted the trim a bit to try to space out the ruffle more evenly around the heart, and then I cut a piece of this Valentine's ribbon and made a loop shape and then glued the ends of that together, and I hot glued that to the back of the heart to create the hanger. This little white vase came from Dollar Tree. I had previously used it for something else, so there was already some floral foam glued inside. I took some sprigs of fake greenery and removed the yellow pieces that were in the middle, then replaced those with pink roses that also came from Dollar Tree. And I switched over to some boxwood greenery that I get off of Amazon and added some little pink hydrangeas and arranged those inside. And I like that this can be used for Valentine's Day or even just for springtime. For this last DIY, I used some of these picture frames that my mom had picked up from Dollar Tree. After I moved the plastic wrap, I took off the back piece of the frame. I laid that down on the backside of a piece of red, white, and pink striped paper. I traced around the square and then cut that out with my scissors. I put the paper into the frame and then placed the back piece in again. And I hot glued a blank wood heart onto the front of the frame. And I also made another frame with a different patterned paper.